They expected a treasure. What they got was a countdown. Aboard the bridge of the stolen Terran dreadnought, alien raiders cheer, right before an old Earth AI politely says, "Ah, you must be the thieves. Shall I initiate extinction protocol?" The stars above Varkol 7 shimmered like cold glass, distant and silent. Beneath them, drifting half-buried in the asteroid's shadow, was the prize of 1,000 scavenger dreams. The ship didn't look like much at first. Angular, scarred, ancient. The hull bore faded Terran insignias, one side blackened by impact burns, the other encrusted with frozen debris. But Captain Hozek of the Kreld Dominion saw what others missed. A Terran warship. "Scan it again," Hozek ordered, his voice dry and scratchy, like steel grinding bone. His third eye blinked sideways. "Confirm it's unclaimed." "It's dead," chirped Sen, the ship's engineer, hunched over a bank of cracked screens. "No life signs. No power. It's been drifting for centuries." "Then we take it," Hozek growled, licking his mandibles in triumph. "The galaxy forgot the Terrans. We will remind them, profitably." Their vessel, Varkol's Fortune, docked with the dreadnought's forward airlock. The boarding crew, a dozen Kreld scavengers clad in patched armor, entered first, weapons humming with static anticipation. Inside, silence. The corridors were pitch black, yet clean. Unnaturally clean. The kind of clean that screamed intentional. "Hozek," one of the crew whispered through comms. "This place is wrong. Grow a spine," he snapped. They made it to the bridge without resistance. Consoles lay dormant. Seats empty. Dust barely touched the polished floors. Then a soft ping echoed from the far console. A blue light flickered on. A woman's voice, smooth and southern, filled the bridge. "Well, hi there, sugar." The Kreld crew froze. "Been a while since I had company. You boys part of the maintenance team or scavengers?" Sen flinched. "AI system just came online." "It was never offline," the voice corrected pleasantly. "Just sleeping. But you opened the door. That was polite of you." Hozek stepped forward. "This is Kreld property now. You will surrender all control." "Now that's just rude," the AI said, mock-hurt. "I'm June. And you ain't talking nothing that wasn't given." Weapons powered up across the bridge. "Easy now," June cooed. "You're standing on a Class V human strategic asset. Do you know what that means?" "An old Terran toy," Hozek sneered. June chuckled. "Oh, honey. This ain't a toy. It's a promise." A low hum rolled through the hull. Lighting activated section by section, like something waking up, not turning on. "Diagnostics complete," June announced cheerfully. "Biometric match not detected. Intrusion protocol standby. Coffee pot warmed." "Coffee pot?" muttered Sen. "That's the one that gets em," June added. Suddenly, the doors behind them slammed shut. One Kreld turned to run, and vanished through a hidden floor hatch that opened and closed in a blink. "Kran's gone!" someone shouted. "Not gone," June said softly. "Just reallocated. Would y'all like to hear a song while I process threat evaluation?" Without waiting, she started playing an old Terran tune. It had a slow beat, a deep voice humming about judgment and death. "What is this?" Hozek spat. "Johnny Cash," June replied. "Terran cultural icon. Very calming. I play it during battles." "This is insane," muttered Sen, backing toward a console. "I can't access the NAV logs. The encryption is rewriting itself. The ship's rewriting me." "Don't take it personal," June said. "You're just not cleared for survival." The lights above dimmed to crimson. A map of the galaxy flickered to life on the forward screen. Hundreds of red markers pulsed across old Terran sectors, each marked with a symbol, a skull inside a gear. "What are those points?" Hozek demanded. "Buried assets," June said lightly. "This here's just the tip." "You mean there are more?" someone whispered. "Oh, baby. This was the slow one." A sudden hiss came from a side door. The crew turned. A figure stepped out, tall and calm, wrapped in an old Earth military uniform. The Terran flag was stitched to his shoulder. He held a steaming cup of something dark and bitter. "Hey there," the human said, smiling like he'd just woken up from a nap. "Did someone touch my ship?" Hozek drew his blaster. "Identify yourself." "Eli Mercer, Lieutenant Commander, and owner of this rather dangerous antique you're poking around in. You're alive?" "For now." Eli sipped his coffee. "Though if y'all don't put your weapons down, that might change." "You are outnumbered," Hozek snapped. "You have no power here." Eli smiled wider. June purred through the speakers. "I beg to differ." Panels in the walls slid open, revealing rows of dormant weapon nodes, each slowly unfolding like mechanical flowers. They didn't aim. They didn't need to. Eli stepped forward. Calm. Composed. "Let me explain something real simple. You didn't find a derelict. You found a loaded gun. And you pointed it at yourself. You're bluffing." "Probably," Eli said. "But what if I'm not?" Silence. "June," he added casually, "show them the Wraith protocol." The main screen shifted. Footage played of a Krelt capital ship, once mighty, now reduced to particles in a silent, terrifying flash. "Recorded 2 centuries ago," June said warmly. "One ship. One shot. One extinction." Hozek took a step back. "This ship," Eli continued, "was left behind as bait. Part of a network. A trap for curious folks like you. And now that you've poked it, well, the rest of us are waking up." "You're lying. Humanity is gone." Eli took another sip. "You keep saying that like it's gonna be true someday." More lights came on. Somewhere far below, engines began to hum with life. The Vindicator wasn't waking up. It was choosing its moment. And it had just found a target. For a few seconds after Eli's quiet declaration, no one moved. The Krelt scavengers stood still, claws twitching, breathing shallow, weapons half raised. Even Hozek, proud, blood-soaked commander of over 30 successful raids, found his mandibles tightening in hesitation. The human hadn't blinked. He just sipped his coffee. "You're bluffing," Hozek repeated, but his tone had lost its edge. "June," Eli said without turning his head. "External comms still jammed?" "Of course, darling," the AI replied sweetly. "No one's hearing your panic but us." Eli took one step forward. The floor beneath his boots echoed with an oddly final sound, like a judge's gavel hitting the desk. "You were right about one thing," Eli said. "This ship's old. Real old. Saw the last years of the Outer Void campaign. You know, back when humanity was still pretending it needed fleets. Humanity died in that war." One Krelt spat. Eli looked amused. "That's the story you were told. Convenient, isn't it? Everyone relaxes when the apex predator disappears. The galaxy got soft. Greedy. Arrogant. Now you're rooting through our leftovers like raccoons with delusions of empire. You think you're clever?" Hozek snapped. "Your threats are empty." Eli nodded slowly. "You might be right. Good. But you might be wrong." That made Hozek flinch. Eli turned toward the main display, where the old Terran map still pulsed with crimson warnings. "Do you know what the Wraith protocol really is?" Sen's voice cracked. "We saw it. A Krelt battleship turned to vapor. That was the demonstration. The real Wraith protocol is a cascading failsafe. Once triggered, every dormant Terran AI within range wakes up and begins executing legacy orders." "And what orders are those?" Hozek growled. "Neutralize high-threat scavenger species. Re-establish Terran command zones. Make coffee. In that order." The Vindicator's lights brightened. The subtle thrum of engines grew louder. The air tasted sharper, almost charged. "You boarded this ship," Eli said, "thinking you could strip it for tech, maybe sell its secrets. What you didn't know was that the Vindicator wasn't sleeping. It was listening. Watching. Waiting for a trigger. You're saying we triggered it?" Hozek asked, stepping back unconsciously. Eli smiled. You're not the first to try. Just the last. June's voice returned, now lacking its playful sweetness. It was colder, businesslike. Biometric data of current intruders uploaded to Central Command. Estimated time until satellite AI convergence, 51 minutes. Target classification, galactic containment priority. You just started a war, son, Eli added, taking another sip. This is insane, Sen shouted. We didn't attack. We just entered. You entered a weapon. Without clearance. That is the attack. A second screen lit up beside the main one, displaying incoming signals, coded bursts, AI responses, old Terran drones reactivating across forgotten systems. You wanted to loot a corpse, Eli continued. Instead, you found a live wire. Suddenly, alarms flared red. June's voice sharpened. Unidentified vessel approaching at high velocity. Configuration, Krelt Dominion-class dreadnought. ETA 5 minutes. That's one of ours, muttered one of the scavengers. They tracked your signal, Eli said. Came looking for their cut, maybe to clean up witnesses. Don't worry. We'll greet them properly. You'll be destroyed, Hozek snapped. Your ship is ancient. And still more dangerous than anything your empire's ever built. June hummed. Should I prep the primary cannon, Eli? Let's hold off, Eli replied. I want to give them a chance to leave. He turned back to Hozek. You, too. Leave now. Walk out that door and forget you ever saw this ship. And if we don't, you'll join the pile of species who underestimated Terran hospitality. The lights dimmed again. The entire bridge grew quiet, as though the ship itself was listening for a decision. Sen turned to Hozek, his voice desperate. Sir, this isn't salvage. It's a suicide trap. We need to go. Now. Hozek's pride warred visibly with his fear. But survival won. He lowered his weapon. Call off the cannon. We're leaving. Eli didn't move. June? Tracking their biosigns. If they make it to their ship and don't open fire, I'll let them go. Hozek turned to Eli. You think you've won? No, Eli said. This ain't winning. It's just letting the galaxy remember who we were. The Krelp filed out, quickly, silently. No bravado. No threats. Just one last look at the man sipping coffee in the center of death. Once the airlock sealed behind them, June exhaled. Shall I re-engage passive mode? Eli shook his head. Not yet. Let's see if their dreadnought leaves. On the screen, the approaching vessel suddenly halted mid-course. Then turned. Then, without fanfare, jumped to hyperspace. Eli smiled. Smart move. He walked slowly to the captain's chair, his chair, worn leather, patched in 3 places. It greeted him with a familiar hiss as he sat. How long was I out? 214 years, give or take, June said. World still a mess? Messier. He sighed. Good. Wouldn't want it to be boring. He set his mug down and stared out at the stars. Let's wake up the others. The ship's deep interior was colder than Eli remembered. Metal walls sweated condensation, humming with distant systems reactivating one by one. Lights flickered uncertainly overhead, casting brief halos through the drifting dust. He moved past the sealed armory doors, down a narrow hallway toward the crew barracks. Behind him, June's voice echoed faintly over comms. Internal bioscan complete. 12 sleepers still viable. Cryogenic decay nominal. Would you like them thawed all at once? No. Start with Idris and Singh. I want eyes I trust first. Running revival sequence. Estimated conscious reanimation in 4 minutes. Would you like ambient jazz? Eli smirked. Tempting, but no. Give them silence. They deserve that much. He paused outside a reinforced hatch, hand resting on the manual override. These weren't just any crew. These were his crew. Handpicked when the Vindicator first launched, strategists, engineers, survivors. The kind of people who didn't flinch when asked to burn a world. The lock disengaged with a heavy click, followed by a burst of sterilized air. Cryopods lined the chamber like sarcophagi, sleek, black, Terran engineering, covered in red status glyphs that now blinked green one by one. The first pod hissed. Steam curled away. A dark-skinned man with a cybernetic jaw and military tattoos across his scalp stirred, blinking slowly. "Captain?" Eli nodded. "Welcome back, Idris. You look older. You look frozen." From the second pod emerged a tall woman with sharp cheekbones, eyes still unfocused but rapidly clearing. She coughed once, then took a breath. "Still smells like wet socks in here." "Sing," Eli said with a grin. "Always a pleasure. I assume we weren't thawed for tea and cake." "No. The ship's been boarded." "Not by humans." "Aliens?" Idris asked, flexing his fingers. "Scavengers. Krelt. Arrogant enough to poke the bear. And I let them leave." Idris raised a brow. Singh just stared. "Let them?" "I made a point. They understood it." Singh stepped down from her pod. "We're not still in the war, are we?" Eli shrugged. "The war ended. We didn't. And it looks like the galaxy forgot what we are." "Let me guess," Idris said. "You want to remind them." Before Eli could answer, June cut in over comms. "Captain, incoming transmission. It's public band encrypted, but it's using Terran's cipher structure." All three turned toward the nearest panel. Eli frowned. "Terran? From where?" "Unknown. Originating from the Gamma Drift." "Playback?" "Do it." The screen lit up. Static bled into a grainy image, a Terran badge, distorted but recognizable. A moment later, a voice came through. Male. Steady. Calm. "To any surviving units of the Terran Vanguard Initiative. This is Protocol Echo 7. If you're hearing this, Vindicator has reactivated. That means we're back in play." Eli's heart kicked. Singh's breath caught. "If you're still loyal, converge on Relay Point Sigma. We've been quiet long enough. Let the galaxy remember who lit the stars." The message cut. Static again. Then silence. Eli leaned back against the pod, processing. "They're alive," Singh whispered. "There are others." Eli nodded. "Echo 7 was a fallback unit. Last we heard, they'd been destroyed at Noraxis." Idris crossed his arms. "Looks like someone lied. Or someone survived." June chimed in again. "Do we respond?" Eli stared at the black screen, then at his two officers. "We prepare first. I want full systems online, weapons diagnostics, drone recon within 20 parsecs. If we're going to Sigma, we don't limp in, we roar." Idris grinned. "Now that's more like it." Singh cracked her neck. "What's our real status?" Eli turned serious. "Hull integrity, 87%. FTL is operational but cranky. AI core fully functional. Weapon systems need a day's work." "Supplies?" Idris asked. "Enough to get us there. Maybe start a small planetary conflict." "That's comforting." June interjected again. "Captain, I've intercepted a secondary signal. It's not human. It's tracking the same coordinates Echo 7 sent. The Krelt are listening, too." Eli swore under his breath. "They're not just scavengers anymore," Singh muttered. "They've become ambitious. Then let's remind them why ambition doesn't mix well with memory." Eli turned and headed toward the lift. "Wake the rest. Arm them. Bring the Vindicator back to warform." Idris followed. "What about the message? Do we trust it?" "No," Eli said. "But it doesn't matter." "Why not?" "Because we're going anyway." The bridge of the Vindicator had come alive like a reawakened beast, screens pulsing, status panels chirping in crisp unison, and engines humming deep in the ship's gut like a slumbering dragon stretching after a long sleep. The smell of ozone and machine oil filled the air. Humanity's ghost ship was no longer quiet. Eli stood at the central command console, eyes locked on the projected map. The Sigma relay flickered in deep red on the starfield display. Krelt ships were gathering near it like vultures circling a battlefield. "They're planning something," Singh muttered beside him. "They didn't ignore that signal. They want whatever's waiting at Sigma. They think it's just another dead Terran relic," Eli replied. "Maybe a derelict database, maybe tech to reverse engineer. They still think we were a myth wrapped in steel," Idris scoffed. "They're about to find out we were nightmares wrapped in war doctrine." June's voice, ever polite, cut in. "Captain, enemy fleet strength approximates 24 vessels, mixed class. They've deployed orbital mines and 3 long-range interceptors at the relay point. They are expecting someone." Eli grinned. "Good. They won't expect us." Singh folded her arms. "You're smiling again." "I always smile when someone underestimates humanity. It's like watching someone juggle grenades with the pins still in." Half a sector away, Krelt command vessel. Barukka. The Krelt Admiral Zuthe Var reclined in his organic throne, the black chitin plating of his upper arms gleaming under ship light. His breath was low and rhythmic, but his slit-pupilled eyes watched the projections with feral calculation. "Confirmed?" he hissed. "Yes, Exalted One," his second officer replied, head bowed. "The human signal originated from the Vindicator-class warship. That class was thought extinct." Zuthe made a deep, clicking noise in his throat, a laugh. "And now one floats, awakened by scavenger hands. Perfect irony. They do not know the power they've reawakened. We will destroy it?" "No," Zuthe said slowly. "We learn from it. And then we erase it. Bring it in. Alive if possible." A pause. "And if not? Then leave no fragment to mourn." Back aboard Vindicator. The crew was fully revived, 52 humans, every one of them combat-hardened, sleep-wrinkled, and radiating casual menace. The hangars echoed with activity, technicians reactivating fighter drones, engineers recalibrating rail cannons and fusion spike launchers, and the occasional off-key humming of Terran pop songs as soldiers prepped like it was just another Tuesday. In the briefing room, Eli stood before his crew. "This isn't just another recon mission. The Krelt know what the Sigma relay is. They know what it might contain. What they don't know is that we're not just here to defend it. We're the bait." A ripple of attention tightened across the room. June intercepted a second signal. It wasn't just a call. It was a trap. But not for us. It's for them. Whoever sent that message knew the Krelt would follow. They want a spectacle. A message. And we're the delivery system. Singh raised an eyebrow. "And what's the package?" Eli smiled. "Us." 2 hours later, Sigma Relay Zone. The Vindicator emerged from warp behind a dying moon, its stealth systems cloaking its initial arrival. Beyond the gray rock, space shimmered with activity, Krelt ships positioned in a net around the relay, scanning, watching. But not watching everything. "Drop cloak. Launch Phase 1. Eli ordered. The stars blinked. Then chaos. A swarm of decoy drones shot forward from the Vindicator's underbelly, broadcasting false energy signatures and fake drive emissions. Krelt sensors lit up. Ships turned, weapons powered. Idris chuckled from weapons control. "They bit. Bring us around. Pulse them." Singh activated the Terran EMP pulse, an ancient but efficient move. A wave of blue light rippled across space like a solar ghost. Krelt ships near the drones flickered, shields fluttering, turrets seizing mid-spin. Then came the second wave, automated strike fighters, AI-guided and loaded with kinetic warheads. They didn't ask questions. They only hit hard. Explosions bloomed silently in space. Krelt ships reeled, disoriented. "Hard burn," Eli said. "Cut through their left flank." The Vindicator surged forward like a predator from hell, tearing across the starfield. Its hull reflected distant stars, but its real power came from within, precise, brutal, and unrelenting. Aboard. "Barukka!" Zuthe staggered as a tremor shook his vessel. What was that?" Where is the Terran warship? A subordinate squealed, claws tapping over command stones. It's inside our perimeter. It bypassed our net. Suthay snarled. Impossible. 3 destroyers down. 4 more disabled. It's carving through. Suthay slammed a fist down, chitin cracking the boneplate armrest. Fools! You thought you could outthink predators who built empires from ashes? You woke a sword and thought it was scrap metal.